You see the signs. You were told. Probably even had someone like they do in Hollywood. Someone walk up to you and say, oh, Chinedu, you are going to be a great man. You are going to be this, you are going to be that. But then for some reason, it's looking more difficult. It feels like you're going from fry pan to fire. Like the place where you're supposed to reach, you never reach there. You never even start the journey. And you're wondering, when am I going to get to this destination? And then your story is like that of Joseph in the Bible. Fantastic guy. Great guy. He was born by the wife that his father actually loved. You know, his father was scammed into marrying someone else. But because he really, really loved her, he chilled. He was going to go through whatever it took to make sure, okay, now this person will go marry. And then he did. Indeed, he married her. And she wasn't going to give birth to a child. He didn't have any child of her own. And then the man had his own children, 1, 2, 3, 4, up until number 10. Before Joseph then came along at number 11. So the circumstance of his birth was quite peculiar. And then when he was given birth to, he was the favorite of his father. He felt like anything he wanted, he got. Perhaps then, when others would eat a piece of meat, his father would say, no, this one, give her 2. Give her 2. And it was so obvious that the father even made him a coat of many colors. Beautiful robe. So he was set up for success in life. The father's inheritance, most likely, most of them would have gone to him because even while he was alive, he preferred him. Even more than the last born, Benjamin. So it looked like things were going on well for him. When others would go out to work, he, VIP status, had to stay back at home. Enjoy. Enjoy. And this is the guy who is supposed to be the savior of the country. The savior of the world, because there's going to be famine at some point. So just like you have the solution that God has sent you to come and birth in the world. But right now, you are not seeing it yet. It feels like you're going through tough times. I'd have loved to read the entire text, Genesis chapter number 37 from verse 5 to 11. You can even start from verse 1 and read it up until, the 11th verse to see the context I'm trying to create. The whole of that chapter talks about this guy. But the particular part I want to touch on this morning is the immaturity of Joseph on his way to the palace. As great as his story was, as great as he eventually turned out, that season of his life when he went through challenges was not that God hated him or really, really that his brothers hated him. Yes, of course, they felt jealous, they felt envious and all those things. But it was a building process. It was a training school for him. Because if he had not gone through what he went through, he would not have become what he eventually became. Many times, the reason you are not close to your destination yet is because you are not ripe for your destination. The reason you've not gotten what you want, what you've been praying for, what you've been working hard for, is because you do not have the capacity, the character, the competence for the things you're asking for. And until you learn your lessons, you may not receive your blessings. Until that thing that you ought to know or be before you can get what you want, until you know it, until you be it, until you do it, you may not just receive what you want. Even though that thing has your name written on it, it won't come to you. See how long it took Joseph. See how long it took him. Is somebody over this morning? So, I'm saying the immaturity of Joseph. How did that young guy that knew nothing, that was just living his best life, that it's not his fault that his father gave him the coat of many colors. It's not his fault that he got dreams by God. It's not his fault that he could interpret dreams. It's not his fault. So how come his life went that way? Because many times we look at this thing and then we look at it from, because we've read the end. If you were going through what Joseph was going through, just think for a second. You wake up one day, just in one day, in 24 hours, your life went from grace to grass. You wake up one day, your father sent you on an errand, which, why you go say no go? He even gave you a coat of many colors, beautiful robe to wear, just to go and check on your brothers. And then just that one action led you to what? Slavery. Joseph was destined for the palace. He was destined for the throne, and God showed that to him twice, 2 different dreams. But you know the challenge? Even though the dreams were true, sharing those dreams were premature. Even though the dreams were valid, he was going to become what God wanted him to become. He was going to become what God had shown him that he was going to become. But he shared them prematurely. He did not have the capacity for where he was going to yet. And God, being a good God, recognizing that if I leave this Pekin this way, even though he's meant for the throne, he is going to sabotage himself. It's self-sabotage, and he's going to end up, where he's not supposed to end up. So God had to take him through a process. So now you are going through a process and you think that, oh no, God doesn't love you. It is God actually taking you through the process that is necessary for you to get to the palace. So you already see around you that sometimes your brothers are envious of you because your father prefers you. And the same you that you know that these guys are envious of, now carry your mouth, gola, to tell them that at some point you become the head and they become those that bow to you. So for an average person now, you have an idea, you have a dream, you have something, and then you just carry megaphone and start announcing it. This is, God, keep quiet. Everything has an incubation period. Everything. And if you don't let your baby grow, if you do not allow your baby grow, it will be killed prematurely. You will lose that baby prematurely. There is a reason God asked Joseph to take, Joseph, the father of Jesus now, to take Jesus and Jacques. There is a reason Moses was strategically taken out to be taken to the palace to go and grow up there. Sometimes the thing you're supposed to become, if you do not allow time and be careful, be discerning of who you are telling it to, you will not become those things. So what did Joseph do? He openly told his dreams to his brother, repeatedly and publicly too. Even told the father, are you saying that me and your mother will bow to you, including your brothers? Joseph lacked prudence in the timing and in the audience. Was what he did bad? It wasn't bad, but was it appropriate? No, it was not. Do you have a goal to achieve? And they've gone about telling everybody about it. Everybody about it. Yes, you should reveal your truth, but you should not do it without wisdom. Because if your truth is revealed, if your dreams are revealed, if your goals and aspiration, the vision God has given you, if it's revealed without wisdom, that in itself can become a dangerous weapon for you. Because the people that are supposed to help you incubate the dreams may just be the people that will pull the plug. So even though you have a God-given vision, a God-given plan, you still need wise stewardship. The vision poorly handled becomes vanity. If you do not handle your vision properly, it becomes vanity. It took God to restore Joseph. It took God. And of course, along the line, he began to learn his lesson anyway. He began to learn his lesson. There is not everything that you open your mouth, go and talk about. Even when you are being persecuted, sometimes you keep quiet. Sometimes you don't fight for your rights. Sometimes you just let things play out. Yes, God has shown you that everybody's going to bow to you. Keep quiet first. It's in a house where you know that they are antagonizing you. Your father likes you especially, and they are not in support of it. They don't like that idea. And then that is the same place you carry your mouth to say. So you work in an organization and you know that your boss has a special liking for you. And then he calls you and tells you, okay, you know what, this is what you're going to do if you want to be promoted fast, if you want to. And you just come out of your gas office, you just go to your own office and like, guys, wait till God tell me, Sometimes you need to keep quiet. Or you're a lady, your husband tells you, this is our vision. We are planning to Japan, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Let's take this test. And then you just pick up your phone and call your closest friend. See what my husband talk. You say we're going to, God, calm down. Calm down. Every vision is for an appointed time. Don't kill your dreams before it's time for it to come to life. Do not kill your dreams. Yes, I know you're excited. The hormones are raging. You want to tell people. You want to feel good about it. If you feel good about it now, what will you feel about it tomorrow? Sometimes you need to allow that thing blossom into a tree that cannot be cut down. Scripture says that be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Matthew 10:16. Be wise as a serpent. The same serpent that was the source of the problem. Now let's think about it for a second. It was recorded that the serpent was the one that influenced Eve to eat of the fruits that God had asked them not to eat. And of course, she then gave her loving husband who ate out of it also, and everybody entered one chance, right? Cool. And then the same Bible in Matthew chapter number 10 and verse 16 is telling you to be wise as that serpent. Be wise as that serpent. And gentle as a dove, harmless as a dove. You must be very smart. It doesn't mean you are doing koni. It just means that you get sense. I know the me talk, the Bible talk. Open your own Bible, you say there, Matthew chapter number 10 and verse 16. Be wise as a serpent, so you don't have to open your mouth and tell everything about you to everybody. Everybody cannot carry the weight of your destiny. Everybody cannot carry the weight of your assignment. You have to discern the right people who have the capacity to carry the weight of your assignment. There's a story of a guy who was tired of his marriage, and he had two people he told about it. And one said, you know what, you are going to do well in that marriage. Your marriage will not break up. I'll be praying for you. I'll speak to you and your wife. I'll help you do this. I'll help you do that. And then he spoke to another person. Another person said, you know what, that woman is a toxic woman. You need to leave that marriage. One person had the capacity to carry the weight of his destiny to help him ensure that his house is intact. The other person did not have the capacity to. And when people that don't have the capacity to carry your destiny with you get introduced into your life, they pull you down to their poor level, to their level of inadequacy, incompetency. And you think they're giving you good advice because it sounds good to the ears, but that it sounds good to the ears doesn't mean it's the right thing. So you need to discern who you should carry along in your journey of life. Maybe if Joseph had told his father privately that, Father, see what I'm saying. See the dream God has shown me. The father may be able to help him to say, okay, you know what? Let's do this. He was excited, understandably so. He was excited, justifiably so. He was excited about the prospect of being the head. He was excited. Not understanding the English phrase that we should stoop to conquer sometimes. Sometimes you act like you don't have sense so that you can have sense. Sometimes you act like you don't have anything so that you can have something. You get into a space and you are showing off, letting people know that you are the richest, you are the wealthiest, you are the finest. But oh God, calm down. Before you people had done this thing, where did they end up? I told someone something years ago. The lady told me some years later. She said, do you know you told us that it is better for you to have money than for people to know you have money? I said, I can't remember I told you. He said, yes. I said that. line you gave us that day you were teaching us changed my life forever. It says, now I have more money than anybody can ever imagine I have. But nobody knows. Because if they had known, I wouldn't have been able to build how much I have to the point where I can now give them and I'm not feeling it. If I was opening up to them and telling them how much I made at the time, and they keep on asking and I'm giving them, I won't be able to build my wealth to the point it got to. Is somebody with me this morning? For those calling, please hang on. When the conversation comes to an end, you can call in and ask questions or contribute essentially. So a God-given word still needs wise stewardship. A God-given project still needs wise stewardship. Knowing where to keep your mouth shut. Knowing who to say things to and who not to say things to. Knowing who to trust, who to commit your life. Because words are powerful. Words are powerful. I was sharing with the members of our community during the week. Your words are not just for communication. Your words are for creation. We think that when you just speak, you're just saying something, just sharing your thought or expressing your feelings or your emotions or just passing the message across. No, what you are doing is creating something. No wonder the first word ever recorded in history was a creative word. Let there be light. That was the first thing that was recorded, that was said, right? It was creative. That is instructive. There's the principle of the first mention. The first time something is said in the Bible tells us about the primary meaning or the primary purpose of that thing. So the first time the words were used in the Bible was to create, let there be light. And that tells us essentially the primary purpose of words. So when you open your mouth to speak, the next time you open your mouth to say anything, acknowledge, recognize, be conscious of the fact that you're about to create, not just speaking. You're about to create something and not just speaking. You're not just opening your mouth. You're a creator. So you're conscious, you're intentional. You're not just careful, you're intentional about what you say. You're intentional about what you say. If what you are going to say has no bearing in the conversation, has no use, has no function, keep your mouth shut. You don't have to say it. You don't have to sound smart. You don't have to sound good. You can keep quiet. At least for now. Guard the timing and the audience for your big revelations. Guard the timing and your audience, the audience for your big revelations. Not every season of your life requires the public announcement. There are some people that everything in their life you know because of their WhatsApp status or their Instagram stories or their TikTok story. Every simple good thing, every little thing that happens, they post it. They want to eat, they post it. They are going out, get ready with me, they post it. Someone says hello to them, they post it. They made some money, they post it. Am I saying don't post? I did not say so. I post also. I post also. So what is the purpose of the thing you are posting? Who is it meant for? What are you communicating? Sometimes we just unnecessarily open ourselves up for attack because you don't understand that the world is spiritual and every human being you see is a spirit that is living in a body. And when the real person, which is the spirit, has ill feelings towards you, and then enough people have ill feelings towards you, tell me that it will not affect your own spirit if you are not strong enough. Have you for a second wondered why when there are 1,001 people in a place praying about a thing, the potential that thing will get answered is a bit higher than when it's just you in the corner of your room praying about it? I'm not saying God will not answer your prayer, but where 2 or 3 are gathered in His name, there He is to bring to fruition their petition. There is enormous power, spiritual energy that is being charged up, where many people begin to think a particular thing. So you use your hand to call problems into your life. Your bands will say, "Gbogbo alangba lo danu dele." So sometimes you need to keep quiet. Sometimes you need to keep quiet. You're a young lady and you realize that when you get into a new relationship, you're quick to tell your friends. In fact, when the guy is toasting you already, you've told them. And sometimes he just, "What's up? How about your guy?" "I don't know. They talk again." No. Or you're already dating the guy, and every time you're dating someone, everybody knows about it. Everybody that has no business in your business knows about your business. And then you see, now and again, one thing leads to the other, it breaks up. Another one comes, it breaks up. Why not shut up for once and see what happens? Am I saying that is the solution? But if you keep more things to yourself and only speak to people who are knowledgeable about it, who are equipped for it, who have experience about it. Not every season of your life requires public announcement. Not every season of your life. In fact, labeling something that, God said, doesn't remove the need for spiritual maturity in its delivery. The fact that God told you, just like God showed Joseph, doesn't mean that thing, you don't need to be careful. You need to be careful about it. Because if Joseph was careful about what he was shown in his dreams, are you getting my point? So you don't need to blot out every ambition, every criticism in ways that will wound your loved ones. Calm down. Even with your partner. Invite your partner, your spouse, invite him or invite her into your vision gently, with care. With care. Gently. Softly. Don't just carry everything and dump on them. Is somebody with me this morning? So, share your strategic plans, your strategic visions with trusted allies, people who have a track record of helping you grow your dreams, your mentors, your sponsors. I once heard the story of a young lady who she wanted to get married, knowing who her mother is, or knowing who her mother was at the time. She knew that if she and her husband were still struggling, they couldn't really afford to do a big wedding, but they knew they wanted to be married to each other. They could only afford to live in a single room apartment. And she was willing to start with the guy. And she knows that if I take this guy to my mother, if I tell my mother our dreams, our plans, they will not come to life. They won't see the light of day. Why? She will frustrate them because she wants to do it in a certain way. So what did she do? She went to her father, connived with her father, had a meeting with father. See, Daddy, this is what I want to do. This is who my husband to be is. This is he discussed. And knowing that the father had the capacity to help her grow whatever decision she's made. Ladies and gentlemen, the mother did not know about the venue of the wedding till the morning of the wedding. Till the morning of the wedding. Oh, she was angry. And when she got there, I was told, she said, if this is how you wanted to do the wedding, if I knew this is how you wanted to do the wedding, it wouldn't have happened. But the wedding was already happening just because she didn't know about it. See how serious that matter was. Her own mother did not know about the venue of the wedding until the morning. But everybody else knew in the family except the mother, because she knew that if my mother knows about this thing, no go happen. Now, this story I'm telling you is a couple of years old. Once in a while, I check on, the person who told me about how about that your friend? I said, they are doing very well. That's what I hear. They are doing very well. Who knows if she won't even have gotten married at all, if they won't be doing very well now, if the mother knew about it. Sometimes you need to keep some things to your chest, even from the people who are closest to you. Scripture encourages us to bridle our tongue. Bridle our tongue. I can't remember the verse of the Bible that says something about you keeping some things away from people, especially those that stay in the same bed with you. Keeping things away from them. So you need to put a non-disclosure around your dream until the structures are in place. The structures that will ensure that even when people now know about it, nothing can happen again. Sometimes you need to do that. Put a structure, a strong structure around it. Get accountability partners, people that have gone ahead of you, people that can hold you accountable to the decisions you've made, to the visions you've shared with them. But we serve a merciful God. Because Joseph's mistake still did not stop God, but he had to learn from it. Because tell me why, when he was being accused unjustly of sleeping with his boss's wife, why he did not go out shouting, the guy kept quiet. He was silent about it. Even though he led him to prison, he still kept quiet. He didn't go around saying, oh no, she was not, it wasn't recorded at least. He had learned that sometimes you need to shut up your mouth. Even when you know the truth, even when you know where God is taking you to, you keep quiet. You keep quiet. If he had not done so, if he had been blabbing, and then the issue had led to yam pepper scatter, everything was chaotic, maybe he wouldn't have landed in prison. Maybe he wouldn't have been able to interpret the dreams of the cupbearer. Maybe he wouldn't have gotten to the palace. So you can see that your actions and your inactions are connected to your destiny. They're connected to your destination. So you must learn to discern every time what to do. Know when to speak, know when not to speak. So everything the guy went through, because he could not shut up his mouth in the beginning, was actually God's training school for him. Those things trained him. They trained him until he reached the place of humility, wisdom, and stewardship. They trained him because it was recorded in the beginning. There was an excited young child who would just, anything happens, you just tell them. But when he don't get sense, like, see what's in my mouth don't lead me to. The guy became more quiet, more discerning, more humble, more wise. And then see what happened in Genesis chapter number 15. In verse 20 it says, you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. So all the things that they were going through, or he was going through rather, that was supposed to destroy him, was actually supposed to build him for the good that was experienced. So the path to the palace that you are going to is a training ground for you, but you must be discerning. You must be discerning. God is refining you for the dreams he has shown you. Don't drop out of school yet. The fact that it looks like it's rough, it is you going through a refining period. If petroleum is gotten out of the ground and just is sold to you that way, it will be useless to you. It needs to go through refinement so that it can be useful when you get to the palace. Because what brought him to the palace was his usability, his wisdom, the fact that he had value to contribute. And if he did not go through the fire and brimstone that he went through, he probably would not have a value to contribute in the palace. And the people who had sent him there, who orchestrated how he even got to the prison to be sold into slavery in the first place, would now need him to remain alive. Would now eventually need him to stay alive. And so I tell you that many times until you learn your lesson, you may not even receive your blessing. So be discreet with your God-given dreams. Be discreet with your God-given visions. Be discreet with your plans. Be discreet. Don't just, calm down. Calm down and be discerning. And be discerning. Put a non-disclosure around your vision, around your dreams, around your life. Don't live in the public place. Start your life from the private. And let God announce you at the right time. And God will be with you in Jesus' name.